Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. I hope your day is going well. I've been busy fighting with the government department, trying to arrange an appointment to talk to them about something, but they keep telling me that everything's closed because of COVID. But COVID was last year. We've moved on, I think. Moved on a lot since then. I don't understand why everything is still closed. Perhaps you're having the same problem in your country. It seems impossible to deal with the government, and that's something which I hear a lot from other countries. It is true that in the UK, we are perhaps very organized and very democratic, but COVID, and some people say Brexit, have left us really without staff to actually talk with us. So everything is going very slow at the moment. On top of that, the teachers are on strike, the nurses are on strike. Driving instructors are on strike. And there's many other sectors as well. Civil servants are on strike. Baggage handlers at the airport are on strike. And I already mentioned the railways. They're striking too. So it makes things very awkward when you try to get anything done. In the private sector, you can kind of negotiate with people. For example, you can say things like, I appreciate what you're saying, but I understand that there's no one there to help me, but I really understand that this form needs to be completed, but I don't know how to do it, for example. There's many different ways you can negotiate. I understand what you're saying, but this has been outstanding for 3 months now. So first to acknowledge and respect the other person, followed by something else, like your reason why you can't do it, is always a good way of negotiating. But it seems to me that with the public sector, the government, that's just not possible because they don't really care who goes first or second. They have their orders to do things in a particular manner, and they're not accountable for anything else. I called this government department this morning, and I said, just before Christmas, I was talking to a very helpful young lady, and she told me how to resolve this situation. And the man on the telephone, he said, a very helpful young lady. Oh, we don't have any of those here. Are you sure that it was the correct number? I said, yes. Well, I did wonder when she was so helpful that perhaps I was through to the wrong department. And he said, oh, yeah, it doesn't sound like anyone here. So you can see how unhelpful they are. To scream and shout these days doesn't do any good. And sometimes I feel like shouting on the telephone. Of course, British people, we don't generally do that, although some people might. And if we get very upset, they'll simply terminate the call. Even in shops, after COVID, there seems to be signs everywhere which says, please note that we do not tolerate any form of abuse against our staff. On our government helpline, they say the same thing before you're allowed to talk to anyone. Please note, if you show any signs of aggression, we will terminate the call and we will refuse to deal with you. So we get that recorded message. Dealing with the government, though, is a little bit strange. When I called them, The first question is, hello, can I begin with taking your ethnicity, please? And I said, ethnicity? Yeah, what did you mean? British? No. We want to know about your race, if you have one. I said, well, I don't know how to answer that. Isn't white rather racist? And she said, no, you can say white, or you can say white British. I said, okay, can we just skip these questions to get to my point? And she said, no, we can't do that. But if you want, you can prefer not to say. I said, fine. So can I just answer that question with prefer not to say? She said, yes, fine. So next, can I ask, do you have any disabilities? And I said, prefer not to say. And I asked her, can I just say prefer not to say for all of these? She said, even if you do, I still have to read them to you. I said, okay. So you see how difficult it is to deal with our government. It seems to be they're a little bit obsessed with political correctness. So we have to go through all of this before we can approach them. I will send another email today, but I'll probably have to wait a few months for a reply. But perhaps it's better than going through some kind of political correct form. Well, that's it from me. I'm up to 6 minutes 50, so I better close. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.